In a dramatic and controversial political decision, Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has come under heavy criticism for his approach to appointments within the House of Lords. Accusations of consolidating power by filling the chamber with Labour loyalists while limiting opposition representation have sparked an intense constitutional debate. Reports indicate that even King Charles has voiced concerns over the potential erosion of democratic integrity, raising broader questions about the stability of Britain's political system. At the centre of this controversy lies Starmer's recent actions, which many view as an unprecedented reshaping of the upper house to favour his party. Within his first 200 days in office, Starmer appointed 37 Labour life peers, a number that exceeds the appointments of most modern prime ministers within a similar timeframe. Only David Cameron has appointed more in recent history. For comparison, Tony Blair appointed 35, Boris Johnson 10, and Theresa May 13 in equivalent periods. Critics argue that this move is not about genuine reform but a calculated effort to cement Labour's influence in the Lords for years to come. Further adding to the controversy is the proposed Hereditary Peers Bill, which aims to remove all remaining hereditary peers from the House of Lords. If enacted, this legislation would significantly impact Conservative representation, eliminating 45 Conservative hereditary peers, 33 crossbenchers, and just 4 from Labour's ranks. Many see this as a deliberate attempt to weaken opposition forces ahead of the next general election. Among those speaking out against the proposal are Conservative hereditary peers such as Lord Strathclyde and Lord Mancroft, who have condemned the move as a partisan strategy to sideline political adversaries. Lord Strathclyde has characterised it as an attempt to stack the Lords with Labour-aligned figures who will rubber-stamp government policies without scrutiny, while Lord Mancroft has gone further, warning that such a manoeuvre could seriously undermine Britain's long-standing constitutional framework. Compounding the controversy, Starmer has been accused of appointing individuals with strong personal and political ties to Labour, including former trade union leaders and personal allies. High-profile appointees such as Brendan Barber, Mary Bousted, and Mike Katz, each with close affiliations to Starmer, have taken seats in the Lords, prompting accusations of cronyism. As public scrutiny mounts, speculation has grown about whether King Charles might intervene. While the monarch's role in politics is largely ceremonial, some sources suggest that deep concerns over democratic balance could lead to discussions about dissolving Parliament, potentially triggering an early general election. Labour has defended its actions, arguing that removing hereditary peers aligns with efforts to modernise the House of Lords, a process that began more than 2 decades ago. However, critics counter that while hereditary peers are being phased out, the simultaneous influx of Labour-appointed life peers undermines the neutrality of the reform. With tensions running high, the situation has ignited a broader debate over democratic principles, parliamentary reform, and the balance of power in the UK. Whether this controversy will escalate into more significant challenges for the government or even force an early election remains to be seen. In a separate but equally contentious issue, farmers are preparing to protest against Labour's proposed inheritance tax reforms. Demonstrations are planned in central London, with organisers predicting that the upcoming Pancake Day rally will surpass previous protests in size and impact. Campaigners are rallying against proposed changes that would introduce a 20% inheritance tax on agricultural land and businesses valued over £1 million, a move that farmers argue will force land sales, reduce investment, and impose severe financial strain on agricultural families. The policy, set to take effect in April 2026, has drawn widespread opposition from the farming community. Organisers have planned a march from Whitehall to Parliament, but in anticipation of disruptions, the Metropolitan Police have imposed restrictions under the Public Order Act. Protesters will not be permitted to bring tractors, with only a few pre-approved by event organisers allowed to showcase the high costs of farming equipment. Deputy Assistant Commissioner Ben Russell, overseeing the protest response, emphasised that past demonstrations involving tractors caused severe road disruptions. He warned that violating the restrictions or encouraging others to do so could result in arrests. One of the protest organisers, farmer Ollie Harrison, stated that the rally will proceed on foot, with some farming equipment present to highlight the financial struggles facing the industry. He stressed that the protest aims to underscore the significant investment required in farming, even to produce something as seemingly simple as a pancake. Despite the backlash, the government has defended the policy, arguing that it aims to fund essential public services while safeguarding most agricultural estates. Officials claim that 3/4 of estates will remain exempt from the tax, and affected farms will be given the option to spread payments over 10 years, interest-free. Additionally, the government has pledged £5 billion in farming investment over the next 2 years to support British agriculture. Further reforms, they assert, will boost farmers' profits, promote British produce, and adjust planning regulations to enhance food production. As the debate over inheritance tax intensifies, Labour faces mounting pressure from farming communities and opposition parties alike. Whether the government will amend its plans in response to public outcry remains uncertain. However, what is clear is that this issue has become a major flashpoint in the broader political landscape, further fueling tensions between the ruling party and key sectors of British society. With protests looming and unrest growing, Labour must navigate an increasingly turbulent political climate where the push for reform meets fierce resistance from those who fear the consequences.